What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Akalon here, and welcome back to each one of you. And of course, if you're new to the channel, thank you so much for joining us. I am very happy to have you here. Today we are asking a very important question. Guilty or not guilty? You decide. Let me know in the comment section down below. Before we even start this video, just write the word guilty or 2 words, not guilty. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to ask you to write again, guilty or not guilty, based on whether or not I could actually sway you. Could I change your mind in any way, shape or form throughout the course of this video? Now, of course, I am just here to give you the facts. You will be the jury, the judge, and the executioner. And with that said, remember you can join the conversation live over on Twitch. Link in the description down below to all of the patrons. Thank you so much for your monthly contributions. It does mean the world to me. If you want exclusive content, behind the scenes footage, a podcast every single week, or just early access to all of our content, click the link, join the Patreon. You will not regret it. At least I don't think you will. Anyways, let's just jump into the video. Oh, remember to hit the like button as well. That helps, by the way. It helps. So hit the like button. And also, because we love you and we love your time and we believe that your time is important, the video is divided into chapters, so you can skip to wherever you think is the most important. But remember, you are the jury here. So if you skip a lot of important bits, you may actually send the wrong person to jail. The Enigma of Sylvanas. After Sylvanas is killed by Arthur, she effectively becomes a very dark, very black-pilled Sylvanas. She has one goal and one goal only, and it doesn't matter who gets in her way, it doesn't matter who needs to pay, she will slaughter the world to get to Arthas. We already know that the events of Wrathgate was in many ways orchestrated by her. Blizzard actually hinted at this in-game. So she was the one who unleashed the plague. Anyone and everyone should die so that Arthas can die. That's all she cares about. Then, of course, at the end of it, when Arthas finally dies, she jumps off the top of Ice Cream Citadel and she has her first ever face-to-face meeting with Zovaal. At least that's what we're led to believe. But the Sylvanas that emerges from that is a very different Sylvanas. This Sylvanas fights tooth and nail for a future for her people. She tries to figure out how to apply the plague in such a way that she can raise the ones who die. She uses the Valkyr to try and bolster the numbers of the Forsaken in many ways. The actions of Sylvanas right after ICC and her coming back is not the actions of someone who is depressed, who is blackpilled, who just wants to destroy the world. In many ways, Sylvanas has hope. So where did all of this change? Well, it seems to me that the first real change came with the deaths of Vol'jin and Varian. The book, Before the Storm, actually says that as Sylvanas was sailing away, flying away, looking back at the broken shore, she couldn't help but feel sadness. She couldn't help that a great warrior was lost that day. Then, of course, with the death of Vol'jin, you can see it on her face as well. There is a marked sadness in talking to Vol'jin. She even says to him, in the end, death claims us all, but the Horde will live on. And I don't think that she was lying. I believe at this point, while yes, she was being tested, and while yes, she did not necessarily want to give in, she still had hope. The Horde will live on. But something has changed. However, it doesn't appear as if she's completely gone. In fact, we do see her in Legion making a deal with Helia. We don't know what this deal was all about. We have speculation and we have theories, but what the deal with Helia was at the end of the day, we genuinely do not know. But we can argue that the deal had something to do with Ayer. Now, we've asked the question, why was Sylvanas going after Ayer? The fact of the matter is, Ayer would be capable of developing and crafting new Valkyr. With new Valkyr, Sylvanas would have the ability to raise her Forsaken army and ensure that the Forsaken do not die out. In many ways, still very much the actions of someone with hope, someone that wishes to save the world. At this point, Sylvanas has zero interest in fighting the Alliance. Instead, all of her effort is aimed at stopping the Burning Legion. And one would argue, if Sylvanas was truly as black-pilled as Blizzard wants to make it seem, why did she care? Why not then turn on the Alliance and start this great war? Far more souls would have been lost at this point, and yet that was not the turning point for her. The turning point seems to come a little bit later. Just before the storm, after Sargeras has plunged his sword into Azeroth, Sylvanas has a moment where she touches Azerite. Now, there is a theory that I'm working on, but it's still very early days, but I'll give you guys a little bit of a teaser, I suppose, an appetizer. There is a chance that Azerite itself belongs to Zovaal and is actually not something that belongs to Azeroth. But for now, based on what we were told, Azerite is the blood of Azeroth. As Sylvanas touches the blood, she shares, at least in Before the Storm, what she sees. She sees herself restoring peace, ruling over everything as the queen of everyone, that everyone will kneel before her. It's not until she touches the Azerite that everything within her change. Remember, Sylvanas didn't want to be the war chief. In fact, she says as much just before she touches the Azerite. In the moments leading up to her, while she's, parading through Orgrimmar, the victory over the Burning Legion, she turns to Nathanos and she's like, I can't wait to get back to Undercity. I don't want to be here. I do not want to be war chief. I prefer the shadows. It's not until she touches the Azerite that everything changes for her. Suddenly, she now wants to be war chief. What's more, she's ready to start making war. War is now the only catalyst. Why? Why was that moment so important? Now, of course, Sylvanas goes on to declare war by burning Teldrassil, and to this day, we don't quite understand why she did that. One could argue it was for the souls that would flow into the Maw, but there's plenty of other ways to get far more souls. Stormwind, I would argue, houses probably a plethora of souls. If Sylvanas truly wanted souls, she could turn the Horde into cannon fodder. She doesn't do that, though. Every step she takes is a step towards something. What that is, we no longer know, but at this point, we do know that Sylvanas enters full Black Pill mode. She is now going to destroy the world. She is now working with Zovaal. But it seems to me the catalyst of her decision to work with Zovaal was the touching of Azerite. As soon as she touched that Azerite, she realized that Zovaal is the only way forward. We have to talk about the somewhat ridiculous line where Sylvanas says that she will not serve. Now, in her mind, to be fair, she was played. 100% Zovaal, hats off. You have to tip your hat to him. He did a wonderful job of playing Sylvanas. And think about it. Sylvanas truly believed that she was in a 50-50 partnership with Zovaal. When Zovaal wanted to enslave Anduin, he actually stood back. When Sylvanas said no, he will choose. I will make him choose. He will realize that we're doing the right thing. Zovaal did not go, no, screw you, bitch. I'm doing whatever I want because I'm the boss here. No, he stood back. He stood back. He was like, sure, okay, we'll try it your way. If you fail, that's when I'll dominate him. But if he sees reason, we'll do it your way. I will not interfere. Zovaal played the game perfectly. And I want to point out to people that are sort of angry with this, people that are sort of going, well, so all of Sylvanas' 5-head shit didn't mean anything. What would Zovaal have been if he got played by Sylvanas? Would we have any respect for him? Now, regardless of the fact that we know nothing about him and most people couldn't care less about him, as a god, as something with his power level, would we have respected him if he got played by Sylvanas? And I genuinely do not believe that Sylvanas was playing him. She believed him. She believed that Zovaal wanted to free them. It wasn't until it was too late that she realized that he had no intention of freeing anyone. Instead, all he cared about was domination. And this was the moment that Sylvanas realized, no. However, that's not the moment that causes her to not be guilty, because she still did all of the things that led up to this moment. She still committed genocide, and I don't know how Blizzard is going to explain that one away, because it is a pretty big thing that happened within the story. But that's not the thing that makes her innocent all of a sudden. It is, however, slightly redeeming. When she realized what Zovaal was planning, she actually tried to stop him. You see, she wasn't willing to go down that route. She did not want full control, and we could now ask the question, does that mean that Anduin is fully controlled, considering that she now refused to do the whole control thing? What exactly is going on here? Could it be that Zovaal lied to her? She thought that Anduin genuinely decided, but Zovaal, sneaky, actually already controlled him and said what Sylvanas needed to hear. Yes, Sylvanas, I understand. I will do as you say. And Sylvanas goes, see, I convinced him. And Zovaal goes, yeah, sure, let's go. Let's get this party on the road, right? I don't know exactly, but I do know that it seems as if Sylvanas has a huge problem with the whole domination mind trick, the Jedi thing. What followed next may in fact be the cruelest act of Zovaal ever. You see, he could have left Sylvanas to deal with the actions or with the repercussions of her actions. But that to him wasn't enough. It wasn't enough that Sylvanas would have had to face all of the Alliance and all of the Horde and all of her atrocities. No, in one swoop, he restores a part of Sylvanas that is entirely innocent of everything that had just happened. And if you do not believe me, look at the cinematic, and I'm sure Addicts will have it on the screen now. When the soul is restored, Sylvanas grabs at where Arthas stabbed her, because that is the final thing she remembers. She remembers being stabbed, and she grabs at it. You see, the Sylvanas that is lying there is only partly to blame for the actions, because one half, at least the biggest half, and how do I know it's the biggest half? The Winter Queen. The Winter Queen calls Sylvanas an empty soul, meaning there is nothing inside Sylvanas. So the vast majority of Sylvanas was kept in the soul prison up until now. Now, you might still argue, well, she is guilty, but then I would like to posit there is a parallel within the game right now, and it is called Uther. You see, Uther almost brought the entirety of Bastion to its knees. He killed hundreds of souls, and by the way, those souls are not just somewhat dead, they're dead. Everyone that died at the hands of Uther is dead. Souls that die in the Shadowlands do not go somewhere else. Their existence ceases. So unlike Sylvanas, who sent souls into the Shadowlands to eventually be reborn as far as the Winter Queen is concerned, Uther did not do that. The lives that Uther took is completely and utterly gone. However, Uther himself was not himself. His soul was split as well. And once his soul was restored to him, it seems as if he was forgiven, realizing that they cannot hold what he had done against him because he wasn't himself. They let him go. So I will posit this as a final message before you cast your final vote. If you forgave Uther for all the things that he had done in the absence of his soul, and you refuse to forgive Sylvanas for the things that she had done, then I would argue that that's hypocritical. Either both is guilty or both is innocent. But one cannot be guilty and the other innocent because their stories are effectively the exact same thing. It is for that reason that I believe that the current Sylvanas cannot be sentenced for the crimes of the other, because the current Sylvanas had nothing to do with the crimes of the other. But I will, as always, leave this to you. In the comment section down below, now that you've listened to everything I have to say, let me know, guilty or not guilty. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you like this video, if you like videos like this one, remember to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button and smash that bell. It does help out the channel a ton. To all of the patrons, the Twitch subs, and the YouTube channel members, thank you so much for your monthly contributions. It does mean the world to me. Thanks to you, this channel keeps leveling up. And if you do want behind the scenes footage, early access, as well as a podcast every single week, click the link to Patreon, become a patron today, choose the package that works for you. Your support is 100% appreciated. As always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Be kind to each other, be good to each other, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out, fam.